Hello, can you hear me? Yes, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this track, to this session organized by Roland Berger. I'll be presenting it with my colleagues, mostly my colleagues. I'm just gonna do a quick introduction. And we wanted today to discuss with you or to present to you the topic of building sustainable AI skills. I'm sure you've heard a lot about AI, the whole day is about AI, you came here for AI. Everything in the world seems to be revolving around AI. But we wanted just to make sure that AI as a technology is very important, but also the aspect of building the right capabilities in a sustainable way, pacing ourselves throughout the journey, the life cycle of this technology, it maturing and us building the capabilities to leverage it in the right way is also, it is in the focus as well, and we shed enough light on it. So the session today will be interactive. We'd like also to have you involved in discussing the topic with us. We would like to discuss with you some aspects around the upskilling, around the principles, the guiding principles, how to use AI. So I'll hand it over to my colleagues. We'll take it from here, and yeah, let's just have a very interactive session. Thank you for being with us today. Please, Fred.
Thank you, Nizar. Good afternoon to all of you. So my side, Frederick from Gysegem, Fred, working on skills development at RB since multiple years, and in fact since 2019 got a lot of questions, an increasing number of questions on, okay, how can we build AI skills within our organization, within our sector, or even within our country? And it's an increasingly relevant question. I think Nizar introduced that also very well. And in fact, we're very happy to have here today with us Hugo. Hugo, who has been on the RB side involved in many of these assignments globally, and who is here to share some of the learnings with us today.
Hi, my name is Hugo Carreira. I'm co-leading AI GenAI transformation offering in Roland Berger worldwide, mainly focusing how to set up AI organization for public companies and also industrial companies, and also how to scale AI in public transformation, and also to work on go-to-market for AI. Then we'll discuss how we can use this technology and really sure that we scale and we can transform companies thanks to that.
Exactly. And in fact, AI, it's a fast-moving universe. We all see that, we all feel that, which also means that a lot of initiatives are being taken. And we see those initiatives, we're involved in many of these initiatives, but we also see and hear from executives a sort of deception on the degree of sustainability of all of this. They take initiatives, they invest in that, but it all seems very transient and disappearing very quickly. And that's exactly something where that is interesting for us, and why we chose also this topic of building sustainable AI skills, to really sustainably anchor that within your organization, sector, country. And in fact, the starting point is, of course, to understand what are the challenges to make it sustainable. And in fact, across the different assignments on which we work, we see the same challenges coming back. First of all, to start on the left-hand side, the left top, the level of change, the speed of change is very fast, basically. So which means that it's very difficult to keep up with it, first of all. Secondly, there is, at global level, a talent shortage when it comes to AI, which doesn't make things easier because people move very fast between organizations, so that doesn't help to make things more sustainable. Thirdly, if you want to learn and upskill your people, the landscape is very fragmented, which is also not always easy and which is a challenge. Cost of AI trainings is another challenge, accessibility. Resistance to change within your organization. A lot of initiatives are taken with the perspective of an executive who is very excited about AI, of course, but in fact, employees do not always see it like that. For them, it's also a source of fear sometimes about their job, about what their role will be in the future. So that leads to a lot of resistance to change, which is not good to build a sustainable AI skills within your organization. Fifth point is the ethical and regulatory complexity. Also there, this field is becoming increasingly important, leads to complexity which makes that somehow, for some organizations, is a bit of a moving target. And ultimately, this set of challenges all together makes that organizations really have a challenge there to anchor AI skills sustainably within their organization. When it comes to solving these challenges, we have Hugo, basically, and Hugo will share a few of his learnings with us.
Yes, what is very important is to create a really building an AI organization skills. There we need principles, that is very important, and also we need to link this principle with the technology stack. Because at the end, we need to ensure that people will use, develop, and consume AI generally the right way. It's why here we will be more focused in principles just after that, but what is very important based on all the experiences that we have with private and public companies is how to mix this HR or this human principle with the technology stack. Is why we, and on that, based on the work that we made with some countries and with some states, we really define some major principles that is really interesting, and after we will discuss with you and interact with you on this principle. The first one is the alignment with business strategy. We see that if your AI development is really in core with the business strategy, the strategy of the company, and also at the end user level, clearly people is more involved to use, to train, and also to be more involved in the program. That is very key. The majority of failure program that we see is based on that. Clearly, the practical relevancy. For us, it's really important to explain to the user and also the employees that is working with AI that AI will be an experience and can be something that will change their way of working, and that is really key. More than people is really involved in this experience, more they use and more they interact with the system. Clearly, the third principle is the knowledge, the interdisciplinary. Here with AI in general, you have technical things or also functional things. It's maybe the first time in technology that business people start to make technical things and vice versa. And that clearly a lot of people request to be trained, to better understand coding and so on. That is very new. And that we need to explain and to guide people in this new way of working and learning. Regarding ethics and responsibility, since now 2 years, AI GenAI is more and more regulated over the world, less in the Middle East, but over the world there are regulations. And clearly, in terms of skills and people want to be sure they are working the right way regarding the regulation. Clearly, more integrated in the training and the skill, this type of regulation and the ethics will improve the usage of the AI and the company level. The last one is the scalability and the accessibility. Clearly, people want to use AI with the right content, with the right localization in terms of unbiased content everywhere. They want to be sure that what they will use is really proper trained with the proper point of view. That is very key. The last thing is the lifelong learning. Clearly, people understood that thanks to AI, they will learn every day, every week, every month. And more people understood that when I make a request 6 months ago, it did not work very well, but now it works well. That is something that we need to explain to all the end user employees. We ensure that they will always challenge their experiences when the technology is changing. That's very, very key.
Okay, so six principles that are important to build sustainable AI skills. This is a workshop, that's the briefing that we got. So we wanted to make it, of course, a bit interactive and get also your input on this. And in fact, in order to do so, we prepared the thing that all of us know in the meantime, the Mentimeter. And we wanted to check with you, okay, within your organization, where do you see the biggest challenge? If you look to these 6 principles, what is the one that is for you really key, really important, and where people are struggling the most and where the organization is struggling the most, basically. So happy to get your input there. I think the team will then shift to the results. So maybe wait a few seconds not to influence you too much. Okay, maybe the team can go to the results. Okay, 25 people in. 2 people who like what you're doing. Okay, interesting scalability and accessibility clearly seems like an important one. Business strategy as well. Okay, I think the winner is clear. Scalability, accessibility is an important one. I think we have 2 more. We have the alignment with the business strategy and the practical relevance. So this is interesting, and we want to go further on the interactive mode, so to say. So the idea that we have our consultants in the back, and that we form 3 groups to discuss, on the one hand, on the scalability and accessibility, on the other hand, on the alignment with the business strategy, and thirdly, on the practical relevance. So maybe, if I look in the room, that could be one group. So the consultants will come to you. So the first group over there, so tables in the back till there, Eduardo, I think is coming in your direction, and the input that you will gather from you is more on the scalability and accessibility part. Then you have a group here, these 3 tables, maybe Pascal can take that one, to discuss on the alignment with the business strategy. And then we have the tables here, and the people sitting here, to discuss about practical relevance. So there is Megan, I think, coming. Don't see it with the eyes. And so the idea is what they try to get from you is, okay, what are the things that you saw working within your organization or outside of your organization? What are the interesting solutions to overcome this challenge on the one hand? And secondly, maybe also what are the things that totally go wrong. So they will quickly gather your input, and then we will also get the feedback from all of them and quickly share it with you. Not easy to make this a real workshop, but you see that we're doing our best. Good, so I think Megan over there, Eduardo is there. So feel free, if you really want to be very close to the action, you can come closer to the flip chart. Sorry, which group? Yeah, so scalability and accessibility is there. Alignment with the business strategy is here, and then ultimately Eduardo is discussing practical relevance.
Business strategy. So let's make it competitive. The one who comes, the group who comes with the first, let's say, 7 reasons would be the winner. Well, then we win, we don't know, but at least we claim that as a winner.
Okay, that's great. So looking forward to having all of you tables and actually quite a sizable group. So the point of this little exercise is also get rid of your first actions, facilitate the exchange between all individuals and corporations. So the topic here today is to talk about how AI skills, what challenges you face to align AI skills with business strategy and what to get right. So maybe just starting with this initial topic. Where do you see the challenges? You have numerous AI use cases, usually the availability of use cases is not an issue. But how do you challenge these organizations to actually make it fit to your strategy? here we got already quite a few topics, and maybe ideally, if you say you agree to one of these, also please just share that. Also, if you see other topics that should be considered when aligning the skills between business strategy. So maybe, yeah, go ahead.
Maybe the movement of the business should be able to identify the real potential of AI and when AI can be used.
Save me time, did it really save me time?
The other one is practical.
Many startups so how do I integrate it within my own application?
Regarding the government,
Testing later on. Maybe making some decisions which should be safe pilot and stuff.
I think we need to try to conclude, because otherwise we will get pretty organized. Let's try to conclude.
documentation is very wide. You can detect it directly that this is a hallucination, and it might be ambiguous and require further. But do you think in your organization you have the right awareness to understand the impact, which use cases will be safe to use, that where the risk of hallucination or
There's this relationship between,
wrong,
first of all, you need to have the acceptance to test out and then the second one is who is doing it, who's implementing it. Between sometimes rigid structures.
Nizar is on. Yeah, put the mic.
Okay, so just include coherence, very relevant insights. We can compile everything and share it online. So please follow us and get the results. But definitely, very.
Okay. You can stay in your groups, so no need to move back together, but of course we want to learn from each other. So let's take just the last 10 minutes to share with the learnings from the different groups. And maybe let's start with the group of Megan, so left, on scalability and accessibility. What are the good things, the enablers, and what are the pain points?
So for the enablers for scalability and access, we had making improvements to the use cases. So this is something where there was an example given of it was tailored, time was taken to make sure that these tools and these skills were gained, and this was very beneficial. There was also a mention of transversal projects for all to win. This is another benefit or something that we've seen that's been positive. And lastly, having clear benefits for each individual, for example, things like prompt engineering. So these all were positive in scalability and access. In terms of pitfalls, for scalability and access, we had lack of access to budgets. And we also had a constraint of being careful with ethical constraints. So this could lead to, if you want to give access to a large group of individuals, this might lead to increased risk, which is something that needs to be mitigated.
Okay, and that's indeed puts a brake on the scalability, because more risk means that people want to control more. In that sense, to some extent slow down the scalability. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Hneini. Let's go to the second group on the alignment with the business strategy, and that's with Pascal.
Yes, of course.
Let me begin with mine. First of all, thank you for all the contributions that were received. There's actually plenty of topics that should be considered or challenging when it comes to integrating skills in AI and business strategy. So we have a couple of topics. One is basically a bit on the methodology, which is about what is my actually core problem within the business. So talking about root causes, and then also prioritizing between all of the abundance of use cases that are happening. The second big cluster of topics that we're having is actually having the organization in place to speedboat some of these use cases in a proper and up-to-date way, which is, for example, the budget first of all, and then the people who can basically act outside of the rigid structures within the organization. But it's also a bit of course, the people being available, and a bit of the lack of this foresight. So now I'm applying something, do a POC, and then what do I do with it? How do I make the transition from the POC in terms of an adoption for the entire organization? So deciding on when to move ahead with what. And it also comes in addition to basically the availability of products. So there was one topic about I have all these startups or POCs or single island solutions. How do I integrate it in my application infrastructure, and how do I roll it out to a corporate solution? Then maybe as a fourth point, out of the many that we collected here, cost is a main concern. Cost in two ways. First of all, Implementing AI requires specialized knowledge. Those people are rare, so there's a challenge of getting these into my organization, either as own employees or contractors. This costs a lot of money and has an impact on the return of investment of the overall topic. Second one being also making my organization ready for AI use cases, especially when it comes to data, is another costly exercise. So creating a data lake, transforming the data, indexing the data, and making some decisions whether to move stuff in cloud or not, this all costs money and is one of the basically hindering topics to implement AI. Maybe this asks.
Thank you, Pascal. Thank you. And then the third principle that was important and that you also found an important attention point in order to build sustainable AI skills had to do with practical relevance. And when it comes to practical relevance, we look to Eduardo.
So thank you so much, Fred. In our group, we mainly discussed about three pain points. The first one was about training business specifically to be able to identify where AI can be used and where actually AI is not relevant. And this is something that, if it's not properly managed, can overload the IT teams and create issues down the line. The second key pain point relates to security. Business needs to be trained on how securely use the AI, specifically AI tools. We talked about chatbots, for example. Being able to identify which documents can be uploaded or not was a key example that came up. And second relates to interpretation. What do we mean by interpretation? Is being able to interpret the results of what AI creates, specifically Gen AI, of course, and being able to interpret whether the results are correct or not, which is particularly relevant today.
Yeah, and if the results are not correct, of course, practical relevance is limited. So that's indeed important. Okay, good. Thank you, Eduardo. So these were, of course, I mean, we tried to do something co-creative in a short amount of time, but we gathered a lot of input, which is very interesting. And maybe I give over to Nizar now for the closing words.
Thank you for providing this content to us. I mean, the classic example is consultants take from their clients and then they give back. We just demonstrated that we can do that with you. Thank you for that. No, but joking aside, I mean, you've heard a lot about AI today, and I think we have within this room enough wisdom about what can AI achieve for us, how can AI help. But the big issue, and I've seen it with a lot of my clients here in the region and even the global clients, getting AI, setting it on the right track is not something that everyone is able to do. And one of the things that we can share with you is make sure that there is sponsorship from the top. Because a lot of those obstacles that we talked about today require executive support in the organization to facilitate the solution. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in POCs, endless POCs, and the impact taking them to production or to the business will not be realized. Second thing I would like to leave you with is the technology is very attractive, it's a hype, everyone wants to, I mean, every one of us has access to online tools and can check the different AI applications. But when we take AI to the enterprise, there is a key important foundation, which is the data. And this is where we start to lose interest. But without having the right data, you will never have the right model and you will never be able to generate the right output. So that's a very important thing. And to leverage the power of AI, this work, what I call it the dirty work or the unattractive work, needs to be done. Spotting the right data, cleaning the right data, putting it in the right place, making it accessible, putting the security measures surrounding it to make it accessible for AI. This all has to be done. And the third, and not the least one, is the building the skills. As we heard from some of the colleagues, getting the experts is costly. There are not enough experts worldwide, so the organizations, they need to build their own expertise. And that requires time and effort, but we need to start. So, putting enough effort in training, identifying the right talent within the organization to become AI experts is key. Having the right data foundation and the support of the top. If we leave you with these three, you convey those messages within your organization, you will be on the right track. Thanks a lot for your time, for providing us the insights also from your side. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. and follow us to see the results of what you've shared with us today. Thank you.